Hello, everyone, and welcome to the WHN broadcast. I'm your host, Karen Ruby, and I'm excited. We have Eric back again. So today, we'd like to talk about what is going on with this surge in pneumonia in China and in other places. And if you could please explain the difference between COVID immune deficiency and what some are calling immune debt.
Yeah, what's happening in China is very troubling because hospitals are completely overloaded in Beijing and many other cities. At the same time, uh, this is not just a isolated incident in China. Many other countries, from Vietnam, but also Europe, from Netherlands, France, Denmark, they're all seeing huge surges in pneumonia in children. So this is a surge in children. But we don't think it's a new virus per se, but uh, China has stated to the WHO that they believe this increase is due to COVID harming people's immunity and basically making people more susceptible to other viruses and pathogens and bacteria that is therefore leading to this surge. Some people say, oh, it's not COVID, it's so-called immune debt or immune gap, because, oh, China was in lockdowns and therefore, kids were missing exposure to regular flu and RSV, and now it's just time to pay the piper because they had skipped a season or two of these viruses, and now that's why they're having a surge. That's what the gap or debt is. But first of all, there's not any scientific proven evidence that of a gap debt in terms of explaining this. Second of all, China, like many other countries, had a surge in COVID, and COVID, as we know, damages immune systems significantly. It depletes T cells, it lowers T cell levels, helper T cell levels, and that really leads to a state in which we're more susceptible to many other viruses. So COVID damaged immune deficiency in many ways is the underlying cause that we believe. And China directly has stated that in response to WHO's request of what's going on. And and for those who still believe, oh, it was the lockdowns, well, pneumonia levels in kids in Netherlands are now at an all-time high. It's broken records of in Netherlands, and it's really high in Denmark and France as well. And Netherlands has not been in lockdowns. Netherlands for the last 2-3 years have been completely normal in terms of everyday exposures and going to school and everything. But why is Netherlands, which had a COVID wave just like other countries year after year, seeing this if they never had the lockdowns? So the lockdown theory just doesn't pan out. The lockdown related immunity gap, immunity debt, Netherlands would not have such a immunity gap, immunity debt, because they've been widely open, and been infected with COVID wave after wave. So I think this evidence for what is happening in China is direct evidence for COVID damaged immunity, which the Beijing government has said. And if you look at other European countries, are seeing too, because other countries that did not go any lockdown whatsoever are seeing it as well in many such places. So I think this is where we have to dispel the misinformation, or at least rushing to judgment that it was immunity gap, because right now I think there is a lot of evidence for COVID damaged immune system and T cell damage, but there's no evidence for the other side. So please don't blame it on these closures that saved so many people's lives. Blame it on the unchecked, unbridled spread of this virus that continues to plague us.
Really important to keep in mind. Thank you for that, Eric. And for more information, please go to our website, whn.global, where you can sign up to join us.